on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of RHOX. I'm your host, Dan, and on today's episode, we're going to be installing part number SEAT-961 on our E-Z-Go RXV. Now, before we get started, let's take a look at everything that comes in that kit and the tools we're going to need to perform the installation. So when you first open up your kit, you're going to have your foot plate. Then after your foot plate, you're going to have your seat back and seat bottom cushions. So after your seat cushions, you're going to have your two front seat back brackets. You're going to have your two horizontal brackets. You're going to have your vertical support as well as your two rear seat back brackets. So after that, we're going to have our two handrails, our handrail extensions, our foot plate brackets, and our seat back bracket boots, as well as our box of hardware. And finally, we have the seat box frame itself. Now that we've taken a look at everything that comes in the kit, let's take a look at the tools we're going to need to perform the installation. All right, so first up we have our cordless drill with a 3/8 drill bit. After that we have our ratchet wrench and extension, as well as a 10mm, 13mm, 15mm, 17mm, and T45 Torx bit. After that we have a 10, 13, 15, and 17mm open-ended wrench. We have a number 3 Phillips head, as well as some safety glasses. Now that we've taken a look at all the tools we're going to need, we just want to go over a few safety precautions. So as always, we want to make sure that we turn our cart off, set our parking brake, and if we have an electric cart, we want to flip the tow run switch to the tow position. Now our first step in our install process is to remove our front seat back cushion. So now that our front seat back cushion is removed, our next step is to disconnect our top struts. But before we do that, we need to make sure we put some kind of prop rod underneath the top so it doesn't fall down on our head. So now with our top struts disconnected, our next step is to remove our sweater basket assembly. And we're going to do that by removing the seat back brackets with the sweater basket already attached to them. So in order to do that, we need to remove our access panel. Now also, just for the ease of filming and also to make access a little bit easier on my end, I'm going to take the time to remove the inner fender wells. That step is not 100% necessary, but it does help a little bit if you need to gain some more access. So now that we've gone ahead and removed our sweater basket and our seat back brackets, we can go ahead and remove the boots that were around the lower portion of the OE seat back brackets. Once those are removed, we can go ahead and install our new boots as well as our new seat back brackets. So now that our seat back brackets are fully installed, our next step is to install our vertical support. In order to do that, we need to make sure that we remove the two Torx bolts that are in the bag well, and then we're going to drill out those holes with our 3/8 drill bit. So now that the holes in the bag well are drilled, we can go ahead and install our vertical support, making sure that the bend in the bracket faces the rear of the cart. So now that our vertical support is installed, we can go ahead and install our new horizontal supports. Now with those, we want to make sure that the bar goes to the inside of our new seat back brackets. So now that all my hardware is installed for my horizontal supports, I'm going to tighten the two top bolts, or the bolts that go through the seat back bracket. And my reasoning for doing that is that's going to keep the brackets from rotating side to side when I go to install the box later on. However, I am going to keep the part that attaches to the vertical support loose, so I do have some maneuverability when I go to install the box. So now that our horizontal supports are installed, our next step is to reinstall our access panel. Now also, because we took out our inner fender wells, we're going to reinstall those at this time as well. So So now that our access panel is reinstalled, our next step is to install our seat back cushion. And we're going to do that using these seat back brackets as well as the supplied hardware that's already inside the box. So now that we have our seat back cushion installed on the box, we can go ahead, flip it around, and install it on the cart. Now that the box is installed on the cart, our next step is to install our footplate. So now that our footplate is loosely attached, our next step is to install our handrails and our handrail extensions. So when you install your handrail extension, you want to make sure that the bend in the bar goes to the outside of the cart. So now that our handrails are installed, our next step is to reinstall our front seat back cushion. And now that our front seat back cushion is installed, we can go back through the entire kit and tighten everything down. Once everything's tightened down, we can go ahead and install our rear seat bottom cushion. So when we go to install our rear seat bottom cushion, we need to remove the two tabs that are mounted at the top, and we'll just use our Phillips head screwdriver for that. With those tabs off, we'll then be able to put the seat cushion onto the locking tabs, making sure that it's secured and in place, and then we'll push down, locking the cushion into place. Once the cushion's in place, then we can go ahead and reinstall those tabs we just removed. So now that your seat bottom cushion is installed, that's going to do it for the install on part number SEAT-961 on our E-Z-Go RXV. Thanks for watching this episode of RHOX Garage. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.